It's the first big holiday family gathering in years due to COVID, but parenting styles and conflicts in parenting styles from the extended family threaten everything. Let's talk about that today on Tips on Teens. My name is Kent Toussaint. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I specialize in helping kids, teens, and families live happier lives. I lead two organizations, Teen Therapy Center and the nonprofit 501c3 organization, Child and Teen Counseling, both here in Woodland Hills, California. Every Wednesday at noon, I jump on a Facebook Live to answer your parenting questions. Let's jump into today's. I'll be getting together with our extended family on Christmas for the first time in 2 years, and I've got some anxiety. We let our kids eat all the sugar they want on the holidays. We're kind of lax about screens, and we don't mind if they're loud and act like kids at big gatherings. My brother and his wife have a very different parenting style, and they don't mind voicing their disapproval. Sometimes they even say stuff within earshot of my kids. It really irks me. I don't know how to respond to them in this situation. I don't want my kids to feel ashamed, and also I don't really know how to explain it to them. Any advice for me? Yes, thank you for your question. The first thing I want to say is this is not necessarily a problem for your kids. This is a problem for the grown-ups. And it's interesting how even though we're all adults, we have kids of our own, we have careers of our own, somehow when all the kids get together from your generation, from your family of origin, you all turn into 13-year-olds again, right? And you all get into that conflict and that competition. And I think that it could be what's happening here. And I really encourage you that what this calls for is all the adults, all the parents who are going to be there need to get on a Zoom or something like that and kind of just have a big come together meeting and talk about what are the rules, what are the expectations. We all have different parenting styles. Where is the middle ground that we can all agree to? Whether it's screen time. Maybe there's a compromise of when screen time is allowed and when it is not allowed. So it's not all for you and your kids where they can do as much as they want. And maybe it's not all for your brother's kids where it's never allowed. Maybe there's a middle ground where at these times we have no screens. We agree to it. At these other times we agree to screens. Find the middle. Same thing with, sweet treats and sugary treats and all that stuff. Obviously there's probably going to be some there. I'm sure there's going to be cakes and cookies and all kinds of yummy stuff. If it's there, it's kind of weird to say, well, you can't have any. Obviously there's going to be some compromise. And maybe it's the kind of thing where if your brother's family is worried about, well, if your kids are eating all these treats, then our kids, how do we explain to our kids why they can't have any? Well, ultimately that's not your problem, but maybe there's some talk about, hey, we'll kind of, keep it we're not going to indulge too much and talk to your kids like, hey, when you're around your cousins, try to not eat too much, try to eat it away from them. Again, I don't think it's a perfect situation, but there is no perfect situation unless it's all your side or his side. And either way, it's not perfect for the other side. So how do you find the middle? How do you find the middle so the comments from the adults are not there? So it's not creating more divide because those comments are not helping your kids connect with their uncle and aunt and vice versa. So if you as the adults can't find a solution, how do we expect our kids to? How do you as the adults set the example for your kids on how to find compromise, how to resolve problems and conflicts? This is one of the roles as parents that we have is to set the example, especially when our kids can't follow it. I think this is really important. I think if you can find an agreement with your brother and the other extended family, I think that's the best way. If you can't, then I don't know how to help you because if they're not willing to compromise and you're not willing to compromise, there is no solution to this. And it may mean that your kids will have a little more sugar treats than they would approve of, but they kind of keep their thoughts to themselves. But if their kids say, hey, why do my cousins get cookies and I don't? And they'll say, well, your aunt just lets them have all the cookies they want and we would never do that because sugar is poison, blah, 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 blah. They have a right to say that. And you may just need to educate your kids on, hey, they have different rules than we do. Let's try to respect that. You can have cookies, but try not to, just, gloat about it. Again, it's not a perfect solution. I don't think there is a perfect solution, but there's a good enough solution through communication and compromise. That's my big thing on this. Hopefully it works out for you. Hopefully you guys can have that talk. That's our question for today. We're taking next 2 weeks off for the holidays, so this is our last Tips on Teens for 2021. But we'll be back on January 3rd, Wednesday at noon, answering your questions on Tips on Teens. We don't have a question yet, so if you have a question you'd like us to answer for the first of the year, email us at tipsonteens@teentherapycenter.com, or you can direct message us right here on Facebook. We love your questions. Thank you. Have a wonderful and safe holiday, and I'll see you in 2022. Bye-bye, guys.